This is macOS Ken.
More iPhone production for India. France does something really dumb. And so many updates, it ought to have music. It is Tuesday, the 1st of April, 2025. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken. Brought to you by yours truly and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSCan. Made in India iPhones are ramping up again next year. That is the word from India's Economic Times by way of 9 to 5 Mac. According to the report on the report, Apple manufacturing partner Foxconn is heeding the Cupertino company's call to build more phones on the subcontinent, going so far as to build a new plant in Bengaluru to make it happen. The piece on the piece has sources saying Foxconn made about 12 million iPhones in India last year. This year they were aiming to more than double that, with plans to kick out between 25 million and 30 million units. Indications are that the Bengaluru plant has been producing small quantities for the last 3 or 4 months. They're said to be focused now on ensuring that quality standards can be maintained when the plant is operating at full bore. Assuming all goes well, and that they continue to scale up production, analysts figure Apple can meet its rumored goal of having 25% of iPhones made in India by sometime in 2026. And now, your daily bowl of dumb. A piece from CNBC says the competition authority in France has fined Apple about $162 million US over app tracking transparency. You remember that, right? That was the thing where Apple told Facebook and other online advertising powerhouses that they could absolutely track user activity on apps and across apps and all over devices, as long as they got the user's permission to do so. The way CNBC explains it, app tracking transparency allows iPhone and iPad users to decide which apps can track their activity, but it's been criticized by advertisers and rivals of Apple's dependent on online advertising. According to the report, the French case was triggered by complaints from several associations for online advertisers, publishers, and internet networks accusing Apple of allegedly abusing its market power. While the objective pursued by app tracking transparency is not in itself open to criticism, say authorities, the way it is implemented is neither necessary nor proportionate to Apple's stated objective of protecting personal data. Yeah, I don't know with which fictional character I identify most. Blank Reg from Max Headroom, Wonko the Sane from The Hitchhiker's Book, So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, or Buzz Hickey from Community. You are absolutely allowed to vote on which one you think I am. I'd also settle for Barry Champlain, though I don't have the voice for it, or Dr. Johnny Fever, though, let's be honest, I'm not nearly cool enough to be Fever. Anyway, that French story is dumb and I hate it. Alright, old-timers, let's do a thing. Monday turned out to be the day for Apple updates. We'd heard April so much that I figured it would be today at the earliest before anticipated operating system updates saw release, and yet the company pulled a fast one, releasing all of its OS updates, save one. See if you can spot what's missing. First out of the gate, Apple on Monday released iOS and iPadOS 18.4. Marquee features, according to a piece from Mac Rumors, include priority notifications, the long-awaited sketch style for Image Playground, the new food section in Apple News Plus, and the arrival of the Apple Vision Pro app. That should turn up automatically for people with an Apple Vision Pro associated with their account. It's also available as a standalone download for people who don't. As an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max owner, Pro Max over here, I was super excited to get visual intelligence and super bummed to not receive it in the update. Turns out I did, I just didn't know how to find it. I found it thanks to a Mac Rumors piece written in conjunction with one of the 18.4 betas. If you're trying to activate it, you open Settings on your iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, tap Action button, swipe to Visual Intelligence, and Bob's your uncle. Really excited to finally have something worth doing with the Action button, though that is not the only way to find and activate that function. The Mac Rumors piece also tells you how to add it to Control Center, though I think that's actually happening automatically with the public release of iOS 18.4. Quick aside, I got the usual screen prompting to set up Apple Intelligence. I chose instead the Setup Later option. Remember last time when I turned it off before, I think the iOS 18.3.2 update to see whether it would reactivate Apple Intelligence on its own? Not only did it not last time for me, it didn't this time either, because I forgot to turn it back on after that test, which delayed my visual intelligence experience. Apple Intelligence has to be on for visual intelligence to work. Anyway, it does seem to work great. So far it's told me many interesting things about my Captain America coffee mug. All of it accurate so far. I'll keep you posted. Off now to the Mac, where we find macOS Sequoia 15.4 making itself at home. New features for that, according to another piece from Mac Rumors, include mail categorization, the Foodie Food section of Apple News+, the sketch style for Image Playground, new emoji, and more. For you Apple TV people, there's tvOS 18.4. This one brings a few new features, according to a piece from Apple Insider. Among them are audio improvements for AirPods Max users, an automatically download in-app content feature, Matter support for RoboVax, and improvements to the part of Apple TV dedicated to watching Apple TV, such as easier ways to add a title to your watch list, access info about a show, and other stuff. Finally, visionOS 2.4 got an update on Monday. Back to Mac Rumors we go, where we find Apple's headset picking up its first Apple Intelligence features. Those include writing tools, Genmoji, Image Playground, Memory Movie, notification summaries, priority notifications, ChatGPT integration for Siri, and still more things. Outside of Apple Intelligence, the headset gets a spatial gallery that's said to feature spatial videos, spatial photos, and panorama images from artists, filmmakers, and photographers. Early offerings include content from Cirque du Soleil, Porsche, Red Bull, and other third-party partners. There's also behind-the-scenes content from Apple TV Plus shows, according to the report. As always, there are security fixes aplenty included in Monday's updates. Zipping by Apple's security updates page shows issues addressed not only for Apple's latest operating systems, but earlier builds as well. They include iPadOS 17.7.6, iOS and iPadOS 16.7.11 and 15.8.4, macOS Sonoma 14.7.5, and macOS Ventura 13.7.5. And that is how we used to do Update-A-Go-Go. If you're wondering what happened to watchOS 11.4, you are probably not the only one. While it was listed on Apple's website as having been released, a piece from 9to5Mac says that mention was pulled. No word on why, nor on when the update will actually be released. And finally today, it's not often that Apple may be consoled by similarities with Amazon, but some people in Cupertino have to feel a tiny bit better today. Remember the hell Apple caught last month for having teased Apple Intelligence features that won't be coming out until hell freezes over, maybe? Guess what Amazon apparently did. A piece from Engadget says Alexa Plus is out and it's kinda janky. describing that as Amazon's AI-heavy upgrade to its virtual assistant, Engadget highlights a review of the upgrade from the Washington Post. Features teased but apparently missing include: it can't be used to order Grubhub, it can't identify family members via camera to remind them to do chores, it can't auto-generate a story to entertain kids, and there's no browser-based version. It will apparently call an Uber, though, and identify objects, and draft emails. Anyway, chin up, Apple. It's not just you. macOS Ken, brought to you by me, and supported by people like you, patrons through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/macOSken. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media. Online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. info@macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.